Everyone says the best walking shoes are just running shoes, but if you've ever gone for a long walk and felt that burning ache in your heels halfway through, you know not every running shoe is built for real walking comfort. So we are going to review our best walking shoes of this year. I've tested every one of these myself, no sponsorships, no brand bias, just real miles, real testing with objective testing scores in each category. Honestly, I'm tired of seeing people waste money on reviewer favorites and sponsor reviews that fall apart or lose support after just a few months just because they are sponsored and are paid to say so. The truth is, running shoes and walking shoes aren't built the same. Runners strike quick while walkers stay grounded longer. The extra contact time means more pressure on your heels and arches. So that soft, bouncy feel you get in a running shoe, it can actually make long walks harder on your body. That's why we tested every pair here the real way people walk. Thousands of steps, different surfaces, and no sponsorship bias. We're gonna find out what actually holds up. So let's get into our top 5 walking shoes of this year. So coming in at number 5 is the Hoka Transport, our most versatile walking shoe. The Hoka Transport is obviously the hands down most versatile walking shoe I've tested this year. We've put over 50 miles on these, city streets, hospital floors, a few light trails with these. One of the first shoes that actually feel like they're built for walking, not repurposed from a running design. So Hoka obviously ditched the large, unstable outsole we see on most of their running shoes you see out there, those massive stack heights, they're overly mushy, too cushy, and they tend to fall apart easily. The Transport is much more of a grounded feel. It has a lower stack height, as you can see, but despite the smaller outsole, it has a compression molded EVA insole that gives great comfort for all day walking. These have a nice plush instep in them, but they're not overly mushy and too cushioned like those other shoes you see out there. So with the Hoka Transport, as you can see, this shoe has lugs. The difference between a walking shoe that has lugs and just a normal rubber outsole is lugs are these tiny projections that come out from the shoe. It allows you to have nice grip on different surfaces, things like that. Now take a look at a different outsole that's just rubber. There's no projections on that outsole at all. So the reason why we rated this as our most versatile walking shoe is you can actually use it as a light trail hiking shoe as well. Or if you do a lot of walking that's not just on normal asphalt or concrete, you're on varied mud, dirt, things like that, that's where this one really comes in handy. So we rated the traction a 9.5 out of 10, the best out of all the walking shoes we have tested. They feature a durable Cordura upper. It's made from recycled materials, and the midsole blends in a nice firmness with great support rather than that marshmallow softness. The upper, I will say, kind of hugs your foot in a nice supportive fashion, so there's not a little internal movement of your foot while you're walking. So like I said, I was able to take these shoes with me on some light trails. It's obviously great for those who aren't just walking on city streets and concrete all day. It's got a 5mm heel to toe drop. It keeps your gait nice and natural. They have these nice quick toggle laces, as you can see, so it's a nice quick lace system for a lazy person's dream, honestly. They have a nice slip-on lock and go for them, nice and quick. They do come in regular laces as well if you're interested in that. So we tested these during hospital shifts. So during a 12-hour shift for me, the padding around the tongue and collar kept the pressure off my ankles very well. So this shoe has the Hoka Meta Rocker design, which is a subtle curvature in the outsole. What that does is it allows a nice heel to toe transition, making your stride more efficient and making you put less energy into each movement. It feels like the shoe is walking for you, not against you. It took me about a week to break these in, so the foam was a little firm to begin with, but after that it began to soften up just like you want it. Now, obviously it's not perfect. The breathability on these is limited, especially during like those summer heat months. The Cordura upper, as you can see, doesn't really have a lot of breathable mesh pockets within it. And one of the other downsides is it runs slightly wide. However, that is a good thing because a lot of people find Hokas tend to be narrow. So if you are a narrow-footed walker, you may feel some movement inside of the shoe, which isn't the best for support. It's at 12 ounces. It's not the lightest shoe on the shelf either, but the stability trade-off is definitely worth it. So these come in for $150 for retail. You can get the waterproof version, the Gore-Tex version, for $170. So it's definitely positioned in that premium walking shoe range, but you're paying for more of the longevity and the durability of these, which is excellent. So you can take a look at the Vibram tread here. It doesn't show any wear after months of testing, and the Cordura mesh hasn't frayed at all. Super durable shoe. So if you're walking to work, standing for long hours, or want a pair that can handle sidewalks and light trails at the same time, this shoe really does all of that for you. So overall, the Transport gets an 8.6 out of 10. So just as a quick aside, if you're serious about finding the right walking shoe, don't scroll past. Check the links below for the lowest verified prices and any extra discounts I can find for you. I buy and test every pair myself. There's no sponsorships, so when you use those links, it helps support this kind of honest testing without costing you a penny more. So on to our next shoe at number 4. So if you've tried those max cushion shoes that felt amazing for a week and then left your knees aching, obviously cushion without control is not comfort. So after about 90 miles, we rated our Brooks Glycerin 22 the best supportive shoe out there, coming in at number 4. This is one of those very plush shoes that actually supports you through long walks. Comfort-wise, we rated it 8.5 out of 10. It has DNA-tuned foam. It balances softness and stability better than most shoes out there. So you have larger, softer cells underneath the heel for better impact absorption, while you have smaller cells that are denser up front in the shoe for a better confident toe off. Now, honestly, I thought that was BS when I read it, because how can they change the cellular foam in a shoe that easily? Now, I don't have a microscope to look at these underneath, but the firmness of the toe off here in the front of the shoe is definitely noticeable when you compare it to the softness of the heel. So it's not BS. It actually works when we tested these out. Support wise, it lands a solid 8 out of 10. It has a 38.5 millimeter stack height, which is pretty substantial. It has a 10 millimeter drop. The shoe never really feels wobbly though, because a lot of those high stack shoes tend to be very wobbly because your foot is up so high. It has a wider base, as you can see here. The nice heel counter keeps you nice and centered, so you get that smooth roll through without that marshmallow collapse that kills alignment in those softer models. So there is a version of this shoe that's called the Brooks Glycerin 22 GTS. It has even better stability because it has a better added shank in the heel here for more. It has a nice guard rail throughout the midsole that gives it an even more stable base. Personally, I didn't feel like I needed the GTS version. I felt more than great enough support with the normal version on these, but if you feel like you need that extra guardrail support on that, I'd check out the GTS version. As you can see, the torsional rigidity on these are great. It hugs your foot nice and well, so your foot isn't wobbling all throughout the shoe or anything like that. Traction-wise, it gets a 7 out of 10. It's great on asphalt and concrete, but like most road-oriented outsoles, it slips a little bit on wet surfaces during our testing. The thick rubber coverage adds a little durability though. After dozens of miles, the outsole wear is barely visible, as you can see. It's got an engineered double jacquard knit upper. It's definitely my go-to for hot weather hiking. The breathability on these are really good. Obviously it breathes well, flexes naturally, as you can see, and it still holds its shape even under that flexion. It fits true to size. Now, I usually go with the 2E version of most Brooks shoes because of the sizing. The sizing with Brooks shoes are very consistent, I will say. However, if your foot is slightly wide at all, definitely go with the wide version. They actually have an extra wide, which is a double E as well. The downsides with these shoes, they're not very light. My men's 10.5 weighs about 11.6 ounces. You notice there's a little heft to it compared to those lighter trainers out there. So price-wise, it's at $165 retail. It's definitely in that premium bracket. You get nice plush comfort. The shoe definitely doesn't fall apart and has great support. So it gets an overall score of an 8.1 out of 10. Now coming in at number 3, our best lightweight shoe, and that is going to be the Altra Experience Flow 2. These were just released this year. Not everyone wants those big squishy outsoles and that cloud-like comfort. So if you've ever tried a Maxwell shoe and felt like you were walking on the shoe rather than with it, this one's definitely for you. So the Experience Flow 2 is all about balance. It's got comfort without all the bulk and support without a bunch of stiffness in it. So we've tested these for over 60 miles now. It's become to my go-to for days where I want a natural feel and I feel like I'm just not bouncing on top of the shoe all day. So there's still enough comfort to protect my joints. The comfort lands at a 9 out of 10. It has the new Ego P35 foam. It has a very nice poppy responsiveness to it, and it's a little bouncy as well. Altra's been chasing that for years, and it's not soft like the Hoka Clifton 10, but it's not too firm neither. When we talk about fit with these, they have the foot-shaped fit that most Ultras have. It's an extremely wide toe box, and it's contoured to your foot, which allows a nice compressive force around your foot, but it's not really causing any numbness or anything crazy like that. Some people who have narrow feet don't love the Altra foot-shaped fit, but a lot of people actually tend to love it. It's definitely the middle ground where a lot of walkers are missing out on that shoe that's not too stiff, but also not too cushy. It's that nice middle ground you want. I wore these through a 16-hour shift, and by the end, my legs were still fresh, no numbness, no sore heels, no blisters. The support is surprisingly strong for like a low-profile shoe. We rated that a 9 out of 10 as well. It's got a nice neutral 4mm drop. It keeps your stride natural while still giving enough heel cushion on longer days when you're pounding on pavement, things like that. The forefoot flexion, look how crazy that is. That's what allows that nice pop and responsiveness. What you see is there's a nice counteraction in this shoe. So when you're compressing on it, there's a good responsive backfiring of it. The platform, as you can see, is slightly wider than the upper, which gives you that nice stability and better ground contact, allows your feet to splay out, allows your toes to splay out without feeling clunky. I tend to personally overpronate a little bit, and the Flow 2 did a good job of keeping my ankle alignment nice and neutral during my stride. Traction-wise, we rated it 8.5 out of 10. They upgraded the outsole, as you can see, with firmer rubber along the medial and the lateral edges. It grips great on wet concrete, asphalt, gravel paths. I didn't really slip at all when testing this. That's honestly something I can't say for most of the lifestyle shoes we review out there, especially in this price range. So speaking of price range, it comes in at $140, which is actually less than the bigger name competition, yet the durability and construction are just as good as those premium shoes out there. Weight-wise, it is like a feather. It's only 9 ounces. It's put in the top 5 lightest walking shoes I've actually tested this year, and you barely notice it on your foot. Downsides, it's not as plush like we were talking about with those marshmallow comfort people crave. And if you've got narrow feet, the trademark, that ultra foot shape fit might be a little too roomy for you. But for people who want a nice connection to the ground and want a nice pop and nice flexibility of their shoe, this is definitely the one to go after. So we gave this an 8.8 out of 10. Now you're going to be wondering, what is the most comfortable walking shoe of this year? And we rated that as the Hoka Clifton 10, just released this year. You know those shoes that feel overly bulky and feels like you're dragging them around and it feels like just walking itself is work? The Hoka Clifton 10 is exactly the opposite of that. The first time I slipped these on, I caught myself honestly smiling. There's instant softness of the underfoot. It's obviously what the Hokas are known for, but the Clifton 10 literally takes it up another notch. For comfort, I rated these a solid 9.5 out of 10. It has the compression molded EVA midsole. It isn't just cushioned, it does an excellent job of absorbing shock. So if you're somebody who has arthritis, things like that, bad ankles, bad knees, these really excel at absorbing shock for you. So if you're really pounding on hard concrete, things like that, you barely notice what you're actually walking on with this shoe because of the cloud-like comfort. Now that's a downside for some people, but a lot of people prefer that cloud-like comfort to begin with. It's got a new 8mm heel to toe drop. It has just enough lift in the back to ease that tension on your calves and Achilles. Definitely saved mine in the long term. Obviously, as we mentioned before, this has the Hoka Meta Rocker geometry, so it allows a nice toe off phase on here, makes your stride more efficient. This is more aggressive than the Hoka Transport, so again, works even better for the energy return during your walks. The shoe does a really good job of moving with you. It's got the knit upper here. It really wraps your foot very nice and well and moves very well with you. After back-to-back 10-hour days testing these, my legs still felt fresh. My heels honestly weren't screaming. No blisters with these, no hot spots. So the comfort obviously doesn't end just at the underfoot. It's got a nice upgraded upper here, much better than the Clifton 9. The tongue padding is upgraded as well, and it's got a nice soft heel collar here. But the midsole, they really knocked that one out of the park. The stiffness is tuned just right, soft enough to feel plush, but firm enough that it never feels unstable in that dreaded topple over effect. Now, one of the things I wish they did better with the Clifton 10 was added more heel collar padding here in the back, especially while you're pressing up against the shoe on an incline, things like that. If they added just a little bit more plushness, it definitely would have been better for this shoe. Stability and support rise, we rated it 8.5 out of 10. It's got the active foot frame here in the back. It does a better job of holding your foot in rather than just sitting beneath you. And the heel is nice and cupped. Now, this is a feature that all other shoes out there don't have. What the heel cup does is it comes up and over your foot. So when you're walking, your foot is pressing up and down. It can't move side to side like that because the heel cup acts as a buttress. That is excellent for support and stability without having that heel shank in there that causes a lot of discomfort in the heel for people. So with this, you get all the cushion without feeling like you're teetering on that foam. Even as a heel striker, I never felt like I was rolling or excessively pronating as I tend to do. Traction-wise, we rated it 8.5 out of 10. It's got the Dura abrasion rubber here. It does a good job of grabbing asphalt, concrete beautifully. Even on wet, uneven trails, you'll lose a little bit of bite, but that's a trade-off for the flexibility you get in this shoe. It weighed in at 11 ounces and it's got that nice wide platform fit on it. Honestly, it feels a lot lighter than 11 ounces because of that aggressive rocker. It feels like you're propelling your foot forward, feels lighter on your feet. So overall with this, they come in at $150 retail. So if you definitely want the most comfortable shoe out there on the market, this is the one you want to go after. And it gets an overall score of an 8.6 out of 10. Easily our top pick for the most comfortable walking shoe of this year. Now coming in at number 1, our best rated walking shoe. Where most walking shoes lose out is they are nice and comfortable for a few weeks. However, they begin to pancake over and they're not durable at all. They lose all of that supportive nature. The shoe that really defies all those odds and comes in at number 1 is the Brooks Ghost Max 3. After 80 miles of testing these on long walks, hospital shifts, dog walks, pavement, rain, this one is literally different. It's not hype, it's literally built to last based on all of our objective testing standards. The first time I slip these on, you feel the immediate comfort of the DNA Loft V3 foam. It molds perfectly to your heel and midfoot. It's like stepping on a memory foam pillow, but it pushes back. That's the biggest thing. So these overly cushioned shoes, you may look at this and be like, yeah, it's way too cushioned. But when you press your foot into it, there's a little pushback and there's a rebound effect on the shoe. That's the best part about this comfort, is it doesn't have that dreaded topple over effect we were talking about. It doesn't overly compress either. It's nice and supportive while it has that cloud-like comfort. It's got a very plush tongue as you can see here. No lace bite, nothing crazy like that. One thing where a lot of shoes miss out, like we were just talking about on the Clifton 10, is heel comfort. It has a nice pillow back here on your heel. And when you really press your heel against it on an incline, it gives a nice pillow-like effect there as well. So comfort-wise, we rated it a 9.5 out of 10. It's got a massive 39mm heel stack, as you can see, but instead of feeling mushy or wobbly, the base is nice and firm and balanced. The foam gives you a nice soft landing and you have a nice pop with it, and these are nice and flexible as well. One of the biggest upgrades on this is it has the guide rail here on the sides. What that does is there's a nice firm part of the outsole here, which doesn't allow for that over compression of the outsole as we were talking about there. So that adds to the longevity of these shoes, because these max stack shoes tend to just flatten out over time, even just within a few weeks after heavy use or a few months of moderate use. That guide rail really adds into that next level of walking shoe technology. What stood out most to me was how my feet felt on mile 1 versus mile 10. With these, there's no difference between when I start my walk and when I end my walks with them. The shock absorption is excellent, so anybody who has bad knees, ankles, anything like that, these really hold up great when you're pounding really hard on them. It's got a very nice heel to toe transition. It does have a rockered sole like we were talking about with the Hokas. So when you do that nice toe off phase, it's nice and efficient. They feel a lot lighter than they actually are. We weighed them in at 9.5 ounces, which is actually very lightweight for the amount of cushion in these. Now compare that to the Ultra Flow here, which are 9 ounces as well. This actually feels lighter because of the rockered sole. It does a very good job of taking the pressure off my calves and Achilles as well. It doesn't just feel cushioned, it's very efficient. Now, a lot of these overly cushioned and maximalist shoes you see out there means you're sacrificing stability, but not with this model. It has a nice wide sole base, as you can see here. It gives a nice solid platform, keeps your foot locked in, even during long shift, quick pace changes, things like that. Like I said, it's got the guide rail system here, so it keeps your foot centered, especially when fatigue starts to set in. I tend to overpronate when I'm walking as well, so it doesn't allow my foot to move within the shoe. It acts as an internal buttress. A lot of people don't give enough credit to the outsole on this one. It's definitely the unsung hero. It's made from road tack recycled rubber. It grips very well against asphalt, concrete, wet pavement, things like that. Didn't really have any slipping with these shoes at all while we tested these out. And overall, the traction is pretty good with these. Now, fit and feel, what everybody wants to know. So I tested a size men's 10.5 with these. I did try the 2E wide version, and the fit was spot on. Brooks sizing tends to be very consistent with their shoes, so if you've had ones that fit very well in the past, I'd go with that same exact size. They do come in normal, 2E, and then they also come in the double wide size as well. I didn't really have to break these in at all. I didn't have any heel slip. The midfoot is nice and wide open on these. It's got a 3.5-inch toe box, which gives more than adequate enough room for your toes to splay out for a nice stable base. Gives better balance that way and less fatigue overall. Didn't have any numbness with these at all. It's nice and breathable too. As you can see, there's air pockets of mesh throughout this. It's got the new double jackered mesh. Keeps the air moving even on hot days without feeling overly thin or too cheap, things like that. The upper itself is kind of thick, but like I said, it has those air ventilation pockets throughout. It keeps the air really moving throughout the day. Overall, with these shoes, everything they made about this one definitely feels deliberate. They knew exactly what they're fixing from the Brooks Ghost Max 2, which was definitely a top performing walking shoe out there. But this one is on a different level than most shoes out there. So when we talk about durability, after 80 miles, I suspected the foam would start flattening out, but it didn't. The midsole kept a nice bounce to it, and the outsole didn't really show any wear on the tread pattern here. Everything stayed consistent with this shoe, which is exactly what you want when you're paying a premium price for a walking shoe. So obviously $160, these aren't cheap. When you break it down with how long it lasts and how good your feet really feel after walking in these all day, this is a rare time when that price actually makes sense for these. So when I line it up with all these shoes that I've tested this year, Clifton 10, Experience Flow 2, Transport, the Brooks Glycerin, the Max 3 is the one I always keep reaching for. It's not flashy, it's not trendy. It's the one that gets the job done. And overall, it's gonna last you for a bunch of miles. You're not gonna find yourself buying a new shoe within a few weeks or months after using these. So our #1 rated walking shoe of this year, Brooks Ghost Max 3, comes in with a score of a 9 out of 10. And there you have it, our top 5 walking shoes of this year. So if you want any of these shoes for less, check the links down below. I keep the lowest verified prices and any limited time discounts updated there. I buy and test these all myself. Using those links helps keep Mountaineer Journey 100% sponsor free at no extra cost to you. If this one helped you find the right shoe, give the video a like. Please hit that subscribe button. This channel is made for people to find the right gear that lasts and is worth your investment and time. And don't forget to check out mountaineerjourney.com, where you can see the written full guide of this on our website. You can also see our comparisons, individual reviews, and best of guides. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.